I told you. Check out yesterday's video. A sock full of rocks. I told you I was gonna deliver the video. And today we're gonna do exactly that. But first, you know the slogan. Good morning, America. Start your day with Christ. Start your day right. Don't end up circling a box like a dummy. I like it cold. Hold up. Tu palabra dice que no es justo que tú hayas desamparado. Es pan para el hambriento y necesitado. En mi mesa nunca ha faltado. Tu proveedor no ha fallado. Hold up. Relax. Promesas bien. Hold up, you know it's gonna be a fire video. Don't worry. We got the notebook, the little book. Got the notes. Palabra dice. We got the notes. We got the whole breakdown. Check out yesterday's video. A sock full of rocks. Check out yesterday's. I mean, you know, all my videos is fire. Because all my videos is live. All my videos is real. You're never gonna get some AI. You're never gonna get some green screen. You're never gonna get some, you know, slow dummy in a basement, you know what I mean, with a microphone in his grill, looking like something you shouldn't be seeing on YouTube. Hashtag no lie. You're never gonna get the microphone in the fucking grill destroying the whole view. You're never gonna get some AI. You're never gonna get some green screen. You're never gonna get a script. You're always gonna get that real entertainment. You know what YouTube's missing? YouTube is just becoming AI slop. Like every 4 videos it's just an AI. It's like AI or a green screen. Or people are just, here's the thing, that the real videos, they take hard work, dedication. You know, you gotta walk in the cold. Do you think I wanna leave my office to do this in my car? You know what I mean? But I know that you want the real videos. I'm not gonna drive around today. But I know you want the real Lock the doors. Fucking, I don't trust none of these niggas. On a quiet street, on a quiet day, I don't trust none of these niggas at all. Hashtag, and don't tell me how to talk. That's another thing. We're gonna get to it. The 3 types of women to avoid. Hashtag, no lie. I mean, this also applies to men. But this video is specific to women, bitches. So don't tell me, before we get into that, don't tell me how to talk. Don't tell me what words I can and cannot say. You know what I mean? We're like in a whole other weird, you know, twilight zone of America. But I'm not part of that twilight zone. So if you don't like the N word, the F word, the B word, the C word, if you got a long list of words that you don't like, hit the pause button and go throw yourself off a bridge. It's like, don't throw yourself off a bridge, but just hit the pause button and get off my channel and unsubscribe and get off my channel and never come back. You know what I mean? Because nothing ain't ever gonna change. That's another thing. I am never ever gonna stop saying the N word. I am never ever gonna stop saying the F word, the C word, the B word, and whatever word I want to say. Now let's get down to the meat and potatoes of the video. The top 3 women to avoid. Now, first of all, you know, all these videos gotta come with a bunch of disclaimers, because you know how people just like Too much doom scrolling. Too much social media's got niggas retarded, you know what I mean? They can't even think for themselves. Hold up. But before we get into the 3 types of women, there's a whole lot of types, you know what I mean? But these are just the top 3. The top 3 types of women to avoid. I want to say, I don't hate women. I'm not one of these, you know, doomers, black pilled, blaming women for everything. I'm not one of these people. You know what I mean? I love women. You know what I mean? You got mothers and sisters and, you know, wives and girlfriends, and not all women are like this, obviously. You know, you gotta give like these obvious disclaimers to people, because otherwise they just generalize everything you say. You know what I mean? Not all women are like this. Just a many. Too many are like this though. Especially today in 2026. You know what I'm saying? Too many are like this, done. Way too many are like this. I might have to smoke a bogey up in this bitch. Way too many are like this. Hashtag not all, just many. And many men too. Many men too. We might have to make another video, the top 3 types of men to avoid. Hashtag no lie, but this video is specific to the ladies. The top 3 types of women to avoid. I remember them because this is like memory. You know what I mean? I don't even have to look at the notes. The notes are like for all the other breakdowns. We got a whole lot of breakdowns. The top 3 women to avoid is number 1, the epic, the queen of bitches to avoid. The numero uno, the top honcho. Baby mamas. Baby mamas are the top number 1 types of women to avoid. Hashtag no lie. You best avoid some baby mamas, let me tell you. No exceptions. No exceptions to the rule. Hold up. No exceptions to the rule, my nigga, at all. It don't matter if the guy is dead. It don't matter if the baby daddy's dead in jail. Lives like 15 fucking states away. It don't matter if she's rich. It don't matter if she look great. It don't matter if she cooked. It don't matter if she give you dome every fucking day of the week. It don't matter. No exceptions to the rule. What don't you understand? No, by under no circumstances do you ever fucks with baby mamas. Hashtag no fucking lie. Number 2. This goes under the radar a lot. This goes under the radar a lot. A lot of niggas don't know about this one. Drunk bitches. Drunk bitches will ruin your life. And what's a drunk bitch? What's a drunk bitch? Any bitch that drinks. She don't gotta drink every day. If she drinks once a week, once a month, 2-3 times a month, 2-3 times a year, any drinks at all, you gonna be like, yo champ, why you so strict? Yo champ, I just wanna kick it with the shorty. I wanna get her swerving. I might get some punani. You know what I mean? No. That shit might you might end up with a case. Hashtag no lie. You see, the rules for men are not the same as the rules for women. Even though most of this stuff applies to men as well, but the rules for men are not the same as the rules for women, because men and women are not the same. Men and women are not equal by any imagination at all. The money's not equal, their roles are not equal. They're just not equal, they're not the same. You need to delete the DEI, diversity, equality, inclusion nonsense you have been fed for the last 15, 20 years. So, drunk bitches means any bitch that drinks anything. Hashtag no lie. You cannot grow with a bitch that drinks at all. You might be like, but champ, just a couple, just a little champagne, a little Alizé with the shorty on the weekend. No, you could drink once in a while. I don't recommend it. I don't drink at all. I might drink like maybe one Corona, one, you know what I mean, Black Label, Johnny Walker. I only drink Coronas and Johnny Walker. I'm like real specific if I do drink. You know what I mean? Or a Heineken. Corona, Heineken. I don't drink Budweiser. I don't drink none of that other shit. And that might be like once or twice a year. Once or twice every 2 years. That is not a weekly thing, a monthly thing. Not even every. I didn't even drink for like, you know, the New Year's that just passed. I just stayed home. I was watching a movie and shit. You know what I mean? I didn't drink anything. I can't remember I think the last time I drank was not this New Year's, not the last one just passed a couple months ago, but the one before that. I had like maybe a couple shots of Johnny Walker at home. Never, ever in the street. I can't remember the last time I had a drink at a bar or at a friend's house or at a barbecue, anywhere outside my house. It has got to be like more than 10 years. More than 10 years I have not had a drink outside my house. But this video is specific to the ladies. Bitches, you cannot grow. You cannot depend on. You cannot have children. You cannot grow anything with a woman that's a drunk. And what's a drunk woman? Any bitch that drinks anything. If you might think that it's just them bitches that drink every day, every weekend, once or twice a month. No, that's one of the first questions you gotta slide in there. Slide that and do it casually. Don't make it mad obvious, you know what I'm saying? But you can make it obvious also because it's a make it or break it kind of question. On the first date, second date, you know what I mean? If you're a little shy, definitely by the third date, you better slide this bitch in there. Yo, you know, you like drinking? You know what I mean? Figure out how you're gonna ask it. How you gonna, you know what I mean? How you gonna slide this shit in there? You know what I mean? Yo, you like drinking? Yo, what you think about drinking? Do your friends drink? Or ask it about like other people. Do your friends drink? Does your mom drink? Does your dad drink? Did your last boyfriend drink? You know what I mean? You're trying to slick your way around that drinking question. Do you drink? You know what I mean? What do you think about drinking? You know what I mean? You can even ask them on the fucking save yourself a fucking time. You know what I'm saying? And they're always gonna be like socially. They're gonna be like socially. When was the last time you had a drink? You know what I mean? Did you have a drink at your house? Did you have a drink? Do you like wine? Slide it in there. That whole alcohol shit gotta come up. You gotta bring that shit up. You know what I mean? And the only answer that you want is I don't drink. That is the simplest, best, and only answer that you want is I do not drink. Now, let's continue, okay? Anything but like, oh, I drink once a month, I drink 2-3 months times a month, I go out 2-3 times a year, anything besides the answer, I do not drink. That's simple, like point blank, period. You know what I mean? Anything like that, you're playing with fire. And a lot of niggas don't think about that one. You know what I mean? You could drink. The man. You could smoke. I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? But you could drink. You could smoke. You could do whatever the fuck you want. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. Hold on. Weirdos. I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? But the rules for thee are not the rules for we. Or whatever. The rules for you are not the rules for her. At all. At all. You're not the one getting pregnant. You're not the one. You're not a woman. You know what I mean? The world has just brainwashed niggas into believing that the rules for like, just like the rules for the rich white man is not the same rules as the rules for the poor black man. Let's just keep it G. You know what I mean? The rules for women are not the same rules as the rules for men. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? The rules for Hispanic is not the same rules as, like, you know what I mean, whoever, you know what I mean, a white boy or a rich white girl or a rich Asian or a rich Jewish man or whatever. You know what I mean? You gotta know. You gotta know. You gotta know to button that shit the fuck up every fucking day. You gotta know to put on the cardigan. You know what I mean? You gotta know not to dress like a fucking clown. You know what I mean? If you're working in the cities. If you have to go to the city to go get paid or whatever, there's a white collar job or a blue collar job, dress nice. You do not want to be stereotyped and end up deported. Or with a knee on your fucking neck, dead. Hashtag no lie. You know what I mean, people? Because you want to prevent problems. That's what this list is about, preventing problems. So let's carry on. Number 1 is baby mamas. We made that super clear. There are no exceptions to the rule whatsoever. You do not fuck with baby mamas. Number 2 is drunks. You do not fuck with any bitch that drinks anything, anytime. If the bitch tells you socially, once a week, with my girlfriends, you know what I mean? You want them bitches that is squeaky clean, that do not drink and do not smoke. You! Because you smoke or because you drink, you need to cut that shit down or slow it down. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't recommend it for nobody, you know what I'm saying? But just because you smoke or you drink, don't mean that you could accept some bitch that does smoke or use the bitch. You know what I mean? If anybody end up with a fucking baby is you want that body to be clean. You want a fucking retarded baby? You know what I'm saying? Or fine, the baby comes out fine, but you know what I mean? Then she can't take care of him. Then he get run over by a car because she was drinking Alizé at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I mean? Talking on the phone with her girlfriends. You know what I mean? Or she was just smoking. Or like, bro. And that whole, oh, it's just on the weekend, it's just here and there. No. No exceptions to the rule. You better get strict with your bitches, let me tell you. You're about to get yourself in. I know from experience, you know what I'm saying? I'll take a bitch that don't look that even all that good. That's like a 5 or like a 6, but is clean. That she don't smoke, she don't drink, you know what I mean? She don't gotta be too bright. She don't gotta look too good. She could be a 5 with no money as long as she don't got no babies. And she don't got no smoking and she don't got no drinking. Especially the fucking drinking. Especially the drinking. You know what I mean? Now, let's carry on to number 3. You got that now, right? Baby mamas and drunks. And drunks is anything. The restrictions for bitches is way higher than for niggas. You know what I mean? You need to know that. You need to know that, son. You know what I mean? You could do whatever you want. Bitches cannot. Because they're not the same. You ever seen a bitch? We all met that bitch that had like 2 beers. And is fucking drunk, ready to suck dick, ready to fucking twerk. You know what I mean? Bitches is like that. And you don't want to be at work and this bitch had 3 drinks, you know what I mean, on a cloudy afternoon and ended up banging the fucking mailman. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing, real niggas, OGs know, you cannot fuck with drunk bitches. You know what I'm saying? Number 3. Now this one, you know, the first 2 come with no exceptions to the rules. But number 3 come with slight exceptions. You know what I mean? You could be a little lenient with number 3. Number 3 is broke bitches. White, black, Mexican, 20, 30, 40 years old, 50, 60, 70 years old. It don't matter what country, what race, what looks, what background, what religion. 98% of bitches is broke. This is another thing that you're gonna realize. But it's not a big deal. The baby mamas and the drunks are super big deals. This is something that you could maneuver. You could work around. You could make it work. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and many times, you could make it work. Broke bitches. Now, you're gonna realize, no matter what they look like, no matter what it seems, she might have an apartment. She might have a car. She might have a phone. She might dress nice. She might be college educated. She might not be. All bitches is broke. Anything less than 20 grand in the bank is broke. Same thing applies to niggas, to men, you know what I mean? But this video is specific to women, right? But all bitches are broke, like 98% of them. Unless they come from like a rich family with the father and the daddy and the mother are still together, you know what I'm saying? The point here is that if they're not broke, they're horrible finances. All bitches, educated bitches, old bitches, young bitches, mothers, single women, all bitches are bad with money. I know a lot of people might not want to hear that. They might not understand that. They might not want to accept that. But it is what it is. All bitches is bad with finances. Real finito, Dorito, the whole bag of Cheetos. You better control them fucking numbers yourself. So that's something you gotta make clear from the rip. You gotta make that clear from the rip. Early on. You know what I mean? Maybe not, it's not something that, it's not like the baby mamas. It's not like the baby mamas. Damn, that's a fucking big ass fucking booger. My videos is mad real, son. It's cold, you know what I'm saying? It's cold. I hope I didn't have that fucking booger in my nose all throughout the whole video. That's what happens with real videos, you know what I'm saying? So, you can maneuver this. You could work this or work around this. You don't have to mention this on the first day or the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth. But once you're like with a bitch for a month, a couple months or whatever, you know what I mean? Especially if you start, especially before or around the time that you start busting nuts in this bitch, you start fucking her raw, busting out her nut, her fucking stomach, trying to, you know what I mean? Pulling out, and once you start fucking a bitch, like often, right? You're gonna start, you better bring this up. The whole money thing. Who is going to run the money? You do not want your finances being influenced by DEI, diversity, equality, you don't want no type of diversity, no type of equality, no type of inclusion when it comes to Casherini Mularini. When it comes to your fucking money, when it comes to buying, who's gonna buy the car, what house, where, what we're gonna pay, what investments, you do not want women having anything to do with your fucking money. And nowadays, bitches think they're equal, you know what I mean? And bitches are gonna wanna know your money, and you don't want them knowing your money, you don't want them running your money, you don't want them knowing their own money or running their own money. Eventually, you better make it, you could take your time with this. As long as she don't drink and she don't got no babies, you could make little exceptions to this. You could push this back a little bit, you know what I mean? But definitely before you start fucking this bitch raw all the time, you better talk to her about who is going to be in charge of the finances. Hashtag no lie. You better help her understand that you are going to be in charge of all the finances, of all the financial dealings in this relationship are going to be run by the man, the big honcho. That might seem, you know, misogynist, male chauvinist, you know, all these words, a fascist, a racist, you know what I mean? This might seem traditional, old-fashioned, you know the DEI, you know the haters, how they come up with all these, you know, words and terms and, you know. But the whole point here is that you better make it clear to her that if you stay together, if you get a house, you get an apartment, especially before that bitch moves in with you, especially before you start fucking this bitch all the time, you know what I mean? Especially before you start getting real serious with this bitch. Look, honey, you know, if we go get a house, you know what I mean? I'm picking the fucking house. I'm picking the cable. I'm picking the house. I'm picking what streaming services, everything that has to do with money. Women are atrocious, horrible. All women. It don't. excuse me. Real videos. My shit is real. Son, my video. I'm not a robot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like comfortably in like a basement with like a big ass microphone in my grill. I mean, I'm not editing and cutting out the little parts, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got a booger flying out your fucking nose, you know what I'm saying? My videos is real, it's like that. But you better make it super duper clear to this stupid bitch. They're all stupid. This video is for men, you know what I mean? Most of my audience is men, you know what I'm saying? I love women. I'm not like a women hater. I don't blame them for everything. A lot of times, actually, when I do another video, the top 3 types of men to avoid, broke niggas, are at the top. You know what I'm saying? When I make that video, I'm going to explain. A lot of this really falls as the responsibility of the men. Because you got to make the choice to realize, is this a baby mama? Is this a drunk bitch? Is this a broke bitch? And swerve her. It is really, when you think about this video, the responsibility always falls on the man. Whether the outcomes are good or the outcomes are bad. It is your responsibility. It's not her. It's not the stupid bitch's responsibility. She don't know what the fuck she's doing. It's your responsibility. You know what I mean? So when I make that video about the top 3 types of men to avoid, I'm going to start it off with, it's always all your responsibility. It's a man's world. You know what I mean? Now, if you're a dumbass nigga, let women just control everything, you know what I mean? Do everything. You just a simp, beta. I'm not really even know what that alpha, beta, all that nonsense. I don't even use these terms. But if you're like just a dummy, you know what I mean? That's an all-encompassing term, a dummy. If you're a dummy and you don't know to ask these questions, to watch out for these things, and you're just a desperate dummy out there just trying to, you know what I mean, bust a nut and you just hook up with any bitch, you got no type of standards, well, your life is gonna just be self-destructing. You know what I mean? Because you don't got no standards, you didn't ask these questions, and you didn't watch out, and you didn't take responsibility. Right? It's not really the bitch's responsibility. It's your responsibility. But this video is about women, so let's keep it about women, right? So, broke bitches. You need to go into any relationship, no matter what it looked like. Maybe 1 or 2 out of like a million have those rich parents. That no matter what the stupid bitch does, the rich parents are gonna take care of her. They got millions and millions and millions of fucking dollars. You know what I mean? But that's like 1 out of like 100,000 women. 1 out of like a million women. 1 out of like 500,000 at least. You're not finding that bitch. So just go into any relationship with any bitch knowing that she is broke. No matter what she look like. When you start looking into the finances, oh, she got a nice little Toyota, nice little Honda, BMW. You know what I mean? She might be geared up, looking nice clothes, designer, you know what I mean? She might even have a little apartment. But when you start looking into those finances, this bitch got like no more than 20 grand in the bank. The car has another 4 or 5 years of $400, $500 payments. Everything in the apartment, the TV, the carpet, the sofa, everything in the apartment is on a credit card. When you start looking at the details of these finances, of her financial life, you realize the bitch is broke. This bitch got like 5, 6, 7 grand in the bank, if that. You know how many, I've never met as a matter of fact, my entire life, now that I come to think about it, I never met a bitch in my entire life that had more than 5 grand in the bank. My entire life. And I met a lot of bitches that were like, that, I never really picked up thoughts off the fucking street. And when I'm talking about hood rats, I'm talking about like nice white girls, nice little towns. And when you look at that bank balance, it's just like, $3,400, $2,500. You know what I mean? Anything less than 20 grand in the bank is broke. I hate to keep it G with you. You want to have at least like 50, 60, 80, 100. You want to, but that's a whole other financial video. But anything less than 20 grand is broke. Hashtag no lie. 98% of bitches you meet, no matter what they look like, what it seems like, they're broke. Broke. If they lose their job, they're back in their parents' basement. In 3 months. Hashtag no lie. Okay? So that's why I mentioned that sooner or later, one way or another, you better bring up those finances, especially if you're fucking the bitch already, especially if you're thinking about getting a house with her. You know what I mean? You better bring up who is going to be in charge of the finances. And if that bitch gives you any type of equality, they're all brainwashed too. They all brainwashed too. You know what I mean? Not all of them, but most of them. You know what I'm saying? You better either put her on the right track on your fucking dick and tell her what the deal is. Look, honey, I need you to take care of the house duties. The house duties, cleaning, cooking. Are you gonna be cooking? Are you gonna be coming home from your fucking 40-hour, 50-hour work week and putting on an apron and cooking? Somebody gotta cook. You can't eat out every day. Obviously, it's just like fucking McDonald's. It's like McDonald's for 2 people is like $45 nowadays. You know what I mean? You order a fucking pizza and a soda, you know what I mean, and some fucking buffalo wings. The shit is $65. You know what I mean? So somebody gotta cook. The cooking and the cleaning, all that, it's under the whole finances. Because once the bitch realizes that you are running all the finances, she knows that, that comes with other duties. You know what I mean? But you have to have that financial talk. You must have that financial talk, because otherwise you're going to be 2-3 years down the road, you busted a fucking, you got a baby or 2 babies with this bitch, or you got an apartment with this bitch, you got a lease with this bitch, or you got some type of responsibility, financial responsibility attached to this bitch. And then you want her having a say? If she makes any decisions, any financial decisions, what car to buy, what washing machine to buy, what refrigerator to buy, where to buy it, when to buy it, what house, what building, what apartment, anything, if she has any financial say in this relationship, sooner or later, it might not happen the first time, but sooner or later, your life is going to fall apart. The couples that you see nowadays, right, that got together like 20, 30, 40 years ago. The few couples, the parents of the girl, your parents maybe, the couples that stay together are those couples that maybe they don't make it out, you know what I mean? Maybe they don't put it out in the open and tell everybody about it. But the couples that stay together are the couples that are led by the man, especially financially. This don't mean that you're going to be a misogynist. This don't mean that you're going to be slapping bitches or beating bitches. This don't mean none of that. This don't mean that you're going to be abusing her or being a jealous maniac, you know what I mean, going through her phone. This don't mean none of that. This don't mean none of that. But it don't mean that you're not going to talk to her about it. You're not just going to show up, you know what I mean, buying new houses, buying new cars without telling her, obviously. But the final decision must be made by the man. All the financial decisions, the final say must be by the man. And she must respect that, whether she understands it or she doesn't understand it. Because sometimes bitches don't have that intuition. Bitches do not have that financial money intuition, let me tell you. They do not have investments in stocks and houses and cars and anything that costs more than $5,000. The man has to make that final decision and she has to be on board. You don't want her catch an attitude. You want a bitch that trusts you, believes in you, and allows you to make that final decision. You don't want a bitch that become, she's supposed to be your partner. You don't want her to become your enemy, you know what I mean, your equality, you don't want her to be your DEI, officer in your relationship. You're not trying to hook up with a social worker. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to hook up with a social worker. You want a bitch. You want a partner. You know what I mean? A supporting cast. You know what I mean? But you are the main actor in this shit. And you are the main character in this movie. And that's what it all comes down to. She needs to understand that. You need to understand that. You both need to be on par. That you are the main character in this movie. You know what I mean? This is not an equality. No. This is not a Marvel movie where all the Avengers are equal. They all fight together. No. This is like Batman. This is like Spider-Man. This is like the Punisher. You know, like those characters are like one guy. You know what I mean? And everything else revolves around them. You have the cat. You got the Catwoman. You got the Penguin over here. You got the Joker. But the main character is Batman. You know what I mean? This is not X-Men. This is not Avengers. You need to make sure that this bitch understands that your life is Batman. You are the Spider-Man. You are the Superman. You are the main fucking character. And you're making all decisions when it comes to money. So those are your top 3 women to avoid. Baby mamas, no exceptions to the rules. Number 2, drunk bitches. No drinks at all whatsoever. If she answers anything but, I don't drink. You don't drink at all? No, not at all. I don't drink. You know what I mean? You want them clean bitches for biological reasons, for physical reasons, for mental reasons, for safety reasons, for like 100 different fucking reasons. You could smoke, the man. You could drink. I don't recommend it. You want to cut that down. You know what I mean? But you could have a drink here and there with your homies. Your rules are not the same as women. You want a bitch that does not drink at all. A bitch that drinks at all, anything, is a drunk. You need to treat her like a fucking homeless bitch. Like a homeless man. You're not gonna date a fucking homeless bitch. You know what I'm saying? You need to treat her like she's a hobo. A homeless person. Like a drug addict. You know what I mean? A junkie. Any drinks makes that bitch a drunk. Avoid her. Swerve that bitch. And number 3, broke bitches. Broke bitches, you can maneuver it. She don't got no baby. She's clean. She's not drinking. She's not smoking. She don't drink at all. You know what I mean? You could take your time. You know what I mean? You could take your time maneuvering that bitch, letting her know, yo, honey. You know, you gotta be slick talk. You know what I mean? You can't just straight tell her like, bye. I'm gonna fucking buy the car. I'm gonna buy the house. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, yo. You know what I mean? I like it when you're feminine. I like it when you do, you know, your household chores. And, you know what I mean? We can't all do the same thing. Let me do this and you do that. You know what I'm saying? And we can't all do the same thing. We're not the same. You know what I mean? Damn, you know? And you gotta like mold her into this. Because a lot of these bitches think that they're like equal. They're not. They're not equal. And there definitely won't be no equality with your fucking money. You let the bitch be equal with you financially. You let the bitch have any type of say in your finances. You gonna end up with no bitch and no money and no house and nothing in the fucking street. let me tell you. That's how these niggas end up with fucking child support, divorced, and fucking completely fucked. You know what I mean? Because they didn't know to, you know what I mean, work this into the relationship early on. And if the bitch continues to be against it, oh, no equality, DEI, oh, no equality, no, you're a masochist, you're a misogynist, you're a male chauvinist, get rid of that stupid bitch. Get rid of the stupid bitch and just go find another one. This is gonna be a complete fucking waste of time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe bang her, I don't even recommend that, but you know how niggas be, you know what I'm saying? Maybe bang her a couple of times, this is not for recreational purposes. Make sure you get the real Trojans. Don't get the fucking fake, cheap, niggas be cheap even with condoms. You get the fucking cheap condoms, and them shits are gonna bust, let me tell you. And then you're gonna have a fucking super problem with this bitch, you know what I mean? Maybe, you know, recreational use, you know, see her for 2-3 months, fuck her a couple times, get a couple domes, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, once you have that little conversation with her 3 or 4 times, you know what I mean, and she's like mad resistant, this is a DEI bitch, you know what I mean? Another reason, another easy way that you could tell about these things is by asking her, I'm gonna leave you with this video's long enough. You could You could avoid all these questions. Well, you can't really avoid them because eventually you're going to have to break it down specifically per question, per thing. You know what I mean? Finances, politics, religion, you know. All these things, you might as well bring them up early. You know what I mean? Save yourself some money and some time. Sooner or later, you're going to have to talk about politics. You're going to have to talk about religion. You're going to have to talk about finances. But the easiest way to tell who the fuck you're dealing with is, are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? You know what I mean? I know that question is like, real hard, you know what I mean? But you could even put it on your profile. Or you could even send them a DM. Early. You know what I mean? Or you might end up with a bitch that's gonna kill your baby. That's how real shit is. You know what I mean? That's how real shit is. So early on, you could just be like, yo, you pro-choice. You can't really tell. Sometimes niggas be lying to themselves. You look at her profile, you look at her, this and that, you know what I'm saying? So many times, you talk to a bitch a couple days, you can figure shit out, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a dummy, just straight up ask her, are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? You know what I mean? Even before you even talk about the money or the, you know what I mean, the drinking, you know, are you pro-life or are you pro? You do not want no type of pro-choice bitch, let me tell you. Or you're gonna end up with no bitch, no money, and a dead baby. Hashtag no lie. This shit gets mad. I know my videos is entertaining, this and that, but this shit is not funny at all. Let me tell you. And a lot of these bitches out there are drunks, are broke, and might kill your baby. Hashtag no lie. You know what I mean? You can narrow it down by, you know what I mean? Just keep it G. Look for a bitch that ain't a Kim Kardashian. You don't want no Kim Kardashian. You don't want the fuck. Maybe look for a bitch that's a 6 or a 7. That looks, you know what I mean? Looks aight, but she's not like, you know what I mean? I mean, the bitches that you find attractive with the big ass titties, big ass butt, showing everything on the bikini shot in the fucking profile. That bitch is not gonna be a mama. That bitch is not gonna be a wife. That's a thought. Maybe look, I mean, we like that. You know, we like the attractive bitches. You know what I mean? Because men are visual. Men are attracted to, like, you know, that dope ass body. You can find them here and there, but maybe just find yourself a 7. You know what I mean? Maybe find yourself a bitch. You know, when the bitch says Christian, you know what I mean? You want a Christian bitch. And if she's not the most religious person, she can't be against it. That you can mold her into the religion. You can convert her into the religion. You know what I'm saying? You could, there's certain things that you could mold her in, that you could change her in, that you could teach her in, that you could train her in. You know what I'm saying? But there's some things that are just completely untrainable, like a baby mama, like a drunk bitch, or like a fucking liberal, pro-choice, baby killing bitch. You cannot, swear, run away like Forrest Gump. Run away from that shit as fast as possible. Please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share. Thank you.